What's good, YouTube? It's Marco B back with another video, man. Thank you, Jesus, for allowing us to be here another day. Shout out to SR Sims. SR Sims requested this video. I was actually going to react to this video and not tell you guys about it, but SR Sims had asked me to react to it on my last video. So, with that being said, this is Hockey Psychologies. It says a very honest top 10 NHL player rankings 2026 edition, man. Playoffs around the corner. We got top 10 lists coming out. We gonna see, man. Who y'all think gonna be on this list before we get into it? Who do y'all think is gonna be on this list? I got okay. Ooh, let me try to see. Let's say McDavid gotta be on there. McDavid gotta be on there. The Nate Dogg gotta be on there. Are y'all saying Draisaitl? Leon Draisaitl? I would say he's probably on there somewhere. Hold on. Hold on. Whoa. I was sitting up there and names just kind of started going through my head, and I don't know. I got a few guesses. But you guys let me know down below. What's your top 10? Comment that. Let me know. Let's not waste no time, man. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. We are 11. You know what I'm saying? You feel me? 11. Make a wish. We are 11 viewers. 11 subscribers away from 500, man. You guys would please do me a huge favor. If you aren't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Turn those post notifications on. Help us get to 500 so then we can get to 1,000. Then we can get to 1 million. One at a time, baby. Let's get into it.
Well, the NHL regular season is almost finished. We did one of these at the beginning of the year, but now that we almost have a full sample size of NHL hockey under our belt, let's revisit who are the top 10 NHL players.
Celebrini, Makar, Bedard. Man, oh my goodness. Whoa! About 75% of my viewers aren't subscribed. So if you aren't subscribed, hit that subscribe button for me. Turn those post notifications on. It really helps the channel out and helps the channel grow. Now, back to the video. What's the guy from the Stars? Is it Robertson? Cole Caulfield. Dude, you got so
right now
names.
Going into the playoffs.
Quinn Hughes.
Now, before we get into it, let's lay some ground rules here. The criteria of how we put this together starts with film breakdown offensively. Aside from pure stats, we've considered not only how the player excels in the team's offensive system, but how well that player themselves can single-handedly dismantle defensive structures and bend the game to their will. The same goes for defense, where we consider how they execute within their team structure based on their position and responsibilities. By breaking down both sides of the puck, I valued players based on how important their particular game was and helping their team win on any given night, along with their sole impact on the game while considering the teammates that surround them. No goalies on this list. Like I said, they're weird and inconsistent, so we're leaving them out for now.
This is good. Okay, this is good because I didn't know goalies wasn't going to be on the list, so this is good because I was like, dang, goalies going to be here. I would assume they would have their a separate list. Okay.
Now, kicking us off at number 10, which was previously occupied by Sidney Crosby at the start of the year, is now going to be Zach Werenski. Over the last 2 years, there's an argument that Zach Werenski has been, or at least has looked, like the best defenseman in the league on some nights. His biggest problem is that he plays in Columbus and doesn't get much love. Despite Columbus's inconsistencies at the beginning of the year that led them to a coaching change that has now since turned them into a wagon, Werenski's dominance has remained a constant all the way through. He's one of just 4 D-men in the league right now with at least 20 goals on the season, and a big contributor, which I think is a really underrated aspect of his game, is his release. If you look at how he beats goalies, it is almost identical and yet mesmerizing for how consistently he catches tendies by surprise with a clean snapshot. From a mechanic standpoint, his head is up, he pulls it ever so slightly into his front foot and then releases it off the toe. It is so fast and deceptive that he can flat out beat goalies mano a mano. Peek the shot location too. There's a common trend in the modern NHL to beat goalies below the glove or blocker and above the pad, and Werenski loves to go there. Of course, his release is deadly enough that if he did want to go top bunk for the ladies in the crowd, he can do that too. Another deceptive detail of his shot is the load up itself. It's very minimal and quiet. You'll see him shoot it out of a stick handle too to disguise his release, which is almost always why goalies are late to the punch to react. He's in the 99th percentile in goals from the mid-range area amongst D-men, and that's because when he's stepping into the hash mark or slot area, his release is undeniable. The quickness of his shot too allows him to be very cheeky with his shot selection from range as well, catching goalies and wingers unsuspecting with a quick snap. It arrives way faster than goalies think or have time to process, especially through a layer of bodies. Defensively, out of him, Makar, and Hughes, he's actually the most effective at denying entry.
Okay. All right. All right.
At 6'2", he is very good at hiding the length of his stick in these rush situations to catch forwards by surprise with just a world-ending poke check. He gaps up extremely well at each line, and he's frequently shutting down rush plays before they materialize into any real danger. It is a sad day when Sid the Kid slips out of the top 10, and a controversial one given our poll that we ran on Twitter, which basically was down the middle. But this season, when it comes to players who can control the pace and outcomes of games, Zach Werenski is top 10 in my book. And just for that reason, watch Sidney Crosby go on an absolute tear. Next at the number 9 spot is the Karillionaire himself, Kirill Kaprizov, and he's replacing Austin Matthews, who has had just a nightmare season. And aside from winning a gold medal, his play has taken him off of this list entirely for now. Kaprizov is one of the league's best playmaking wingers, who's equally one of the most dangerous shooting threats, as evident from him being 3rd in the league in goals. And this play here shows just how he blends his playmaking with his shooter mentality. He gets this pass at the blue line from Zuccarello and enters directly into a 1-on-3 situation. Knowing he's going to face back pressure from this D, he's going to take that space towards the middle and drag the traffic with him, knowing that it'll free up the lane for Zuccarello. No look, between the legs drop pass, and right away opens the hips up like Shakira to get ready for the shooting threat, where he tees one home. Kaprizov is so good at attacking in between checks and coverages too. This is an all-world play that shows his talent and awareness. As the puck is crawling up the boards, he attacks the space between the checks, and this is what they mean when they say you can't give a great player a bad pass. It's in his feet behind him. He's going to kick the puck up onto his stick in one motion, delays, shows some patience, and then see ya on the highlight reel. He's top 5 in shots on goal because he's always putting himself in high quality shooting positions. He's pretty good defensively too for a winger. A lot of his impact starts in transition as well. He's constantly involved on breakouts. He anticipates the flow of imposing offenses to break up plays and then immediately turn the play up ice for Minnesota. When he's healthy, he's one of the best wingers in the world, and this year we're seeing it. Next, coming in at the number 8 spot is
the kid. Yeah, I see the kid.
Macklin Celebrini. Celebrini, in the span of one season, has shown that he can be one of the very best in the world. Let's just look at the numbers here for a second. He almost has 50 more points than the next closest teammate on the Sharks. He went to the Olympics.
I watched the Sharks. I would have never guessed. Holy shit. Now I'm gonna be honest. Every time I watch him, it's like it seems as though he's either assisting on a goal or he's scoring a goal. You know, like he's getting points. So I kind of wondered about that, but I didn't know it was that much of a difference. God almighty.
He almost has 50 more points than the next closest teammate on the Sharks. He went to the Olympics in best on best hockey and led the tournament in goals, and his production at his age has only been rivaled by Sidney Crosby and Wayne Gretzky, arguably the 2 greatest players to ever live. And he's doing this all while just being a teenager. He's 19 years old. If San Jose somehow finds a way to make it in, and it doesn't look like they will right now, but Celebrini will get some serious consideration for the Hart Trophy. He blends elite offensive skill with a relentless motor that is constantly hunting pucks and impacting the game all over the ice. His high-end speed and agility makes him already one of the best transition players in the game. I joke about it, but seriously, I don't know if he knows what color the puck is. He never has his head down in almost any situation. What has impressed me most at his age is his off-puck routes. He's way ahead of his years in reading the game and analyzing defenses. Not only does he time his arrival into space consistently well, but he creates it out of thin air by manipulating how defenders move. The upside for Celebrini is enormous, and as time goes on, he will likely just climb this list. Coming in at number 7 and keeping his spot is Quinn Hughes. Being traded halfway through the season, Hughes and his play style has fit right in with Minnesota's system. Quinn Hughes is averaging almost an assist per game this season. Only 3 defensemen have ever done that over a course of a full season: Brian Leetch, Paul Coffey.
Wow. That's a great list to be on right there. And we've reacted to 2 of those guys, Paul Coffey and Bobby Orr.
All Hall of Fame D-men. We know what Quinn Hughes is, what he can do. He's still making wingers look like jagaloons on the blue line, and the way that he can control offensive possessions is a really good fit with a Minnesota offense that loves to have all their D involved in on the action. One extremely underrated and really key component to him dictating the entire pace of a game, though, extremely underrated and really key component to him dictating the entire pace of a game, though, is his ability to re-enter the zone and catch defenses going for a change. On a play like this, watch him recognize Nashville going for a change, so he makes a strong cut to the inside to attack the far boards. Sure enough, Nashville can't recover, and it leads to a goal. Sometimes it is that simple as having the awareness of outweighting that first forechecker like he does here. He sees Hyman raise his arm here to say, I'm holding the lane as the F1, but I'm coming to the bench for a change right after. Instead of going D to D, Hughes outweights him and catches another Oiler changing, so now he decides to attack right up the middle of the ice. Clean entry to an eventual goal. When Hughes is on the ice, he decides what pace the game is going at, and that is something only very few can do. The other being the man at the number 6 spot, and that is still Kale McCarr. The margin between Hughes and McCarr is so minimal that you could swap these two and it probably wouldn't matter. To be honest, there may not be a better player system fit in the league than the one McCarr has in Colorado. It is a system based on its speed and aggression, which strongly plays into McCarr's strength.
Dang. Trying to think. Number 1.
Best skaters in the world. A lot of McCarr's offense comes from recognition and exploiting the weak side of the ice in the offensive zone. As a 5-man unit, if you collapse too deep when defending, Colorado will find a way to go low to high and across to McCarr, and he's going to take all that space the defending team gives him and make you pay. If you get spread too thin and aren't tight enough to close the seams, McCarr will activate and will connect on a dangerous cross-ice play that usually finds a way into the back of the net. Damned if you do, and damned if you don't. On the defensive side of the puck, the Avs play an aggressive man-on-man system that works really well because of their team speed to close in on offenses. For a player like McCarr, his skating and edge work is a perfect fit in the system where he can close gaps very quickly, whether it's anticipating a cycle play down low for a breakup or closing in to abruptly force the puck carrier into uncomfortable spaces. McCarr is able to control the game through his mind and feet. Just looking at how both McCarr and Hughes' game translate to playoff hockey, McCarr still has the slightest edge for me for the best defender in the world title, but that might all change with Hughes being on a different team for this postseason run. Now, coming in at the number 5 spot is David Pastrnak. Now, before we get into pasta, he is replacing Alexander Barkov at the number 5 spot, who's actually not on this list. Not because of anything other than the fact that Barkov hasn't played a single second of hockey this season because of an injury. When he is playing and he's healthy, he's without a doubt a top 10 player in the NHL. But this year, he's just not available. So
that injury really hurt the Panthers too. Like you can really tell how important he was to their team.
Moving on up is Pastrnak. I still don't think there's anybody doing more with less than Pasta. Seriously, if you look at who he's playing with and you don't follow hockey closely, you might legitimately not know some of the
Yeah. Yo, nah, I know Fraser Minton, and that's just because I've watched Hockey Psychology. Never heard of this guy. Never heard of that guy. I feel like I've heard of Pavel Zaka. Is that what it? I don't know. Maybe I've never heard of him, and I've definitely never heard of this guy. But that's crazy.
The guys on his line. There's a lot we can love about Pasta's game, but I think what I love most is how intelligent of a shooter he is. He might be the most intelligent shooter in the game. His ability to read or manipulate goaltenders through his patience and awareness of certain save selections, as well as overall goaltender movement, makes him one of the deadliest players on the planet. How about this for an all-time cheeky shot, too? First to the puck off of a bank pass. He's going to fake the slap shot to freeze the cord, controls it for a split second to take it right into the zone where he knows goaltenders are getting into the RVH, and as soon as Decord drops to his knee, Pasta goes upstairs, shaving the ear hair. That is absurdity. But he's always so calculated with when he decides to shoot that it's frequently catching goalies within movement and pissing them off that he caught them with their legs open. The other really underrated component to his game for me is his puck protection. Pasta has the ability to hold off defenders and make plays with them on his back. He can absorb the initial contact to keep possession, and then he's so good at getting wide and making a good base that defenders are forced to lunge to try and get a stick on puck, where then he can just work his magic. If he played with a legitimate offensive number one center, his numbers would probably be even better than they are right now. Now, moving into the top four, it has been some variation of the same guys playing musical chairs with each other over the last few years.
Okay.
But we had Draisaitl at the number 4 spot last year, and this year he's staying put, despite being out for the rest of the regular season and giving
Why did I forget about that? Holy moly.
Oilers fans a heart attack. He's averaging 1.49 points per game, which is 4th in the NHL. So good spot for him.
I'm so upset. Kucherov is definitely about to be in this top 4, and I don't know why I was thinking of somebody else, but Kucherov is definitely in this top 4.
He remains one of the most lethal and efficient offensive players in the world. His unique blend of size, strength, and elite skill makes him almost impossible to contain, especially because of his ability to make plays on the backhand. Defenders typically try and steer offensive players to their backhand, as that is where majority are either uncomfortable or incapable of making a play. But that is where Draisaitl loves to be. It's his bread and butter. Defenders are also a bit more inclined to pressure or lunge as well when a player is on his backhand, but Draisaitl welcomes it with open arms and will make you look like a damn fool if you're not careful. He's the very definition of you reach, I teach. There's a reason why he's top 5 or higher in assists every year. It isn't a play style that overwhelms you with sheer physical speed like his pal McJesus, but instead it does so with insane processing speed. Players like Draisaitl are 2 to 3 steps ahead of the play in most situations, and being one of the most productive playoff performers in the modern NHL, he showed that he can do it when the game really tightens up. The style is largely different from our man in the number 3 spot, and that is Nate. Oh yeah, it is certainly going to cause a stir here with the Nate Dogg moving down a spot from the beginning of the season, especially because he leads the entire league in goals, and no one has generated more offense when even strength. But him being at number 3 is not really a regression of McKinnon by any means, because he is still the most explosive force in hockey. Rivaled by only Connor McDavid in terms of top speed with the puck, Erik Karlsson describes the fear of God that enters defenders' heads when they see McKinnon coming at him with a full head of steam. The true danger, however, is how he weaponizes it in different situations. The most common is exploiting the gap his raw speed generates. D's naturally back up to avoid getting burned wide while trying to match his speed. This is where a quick cutback is just devastating because it leaves an even wider gap to expose with Colorado's reinforcements coming in. The simplest way to watch his greatness is just how frequently he moves from slow to fast or fast to slow, because no one can keep up with his speed. These speed changes that you see with his cutbacks and acceleration boosts are even more detrimental to defenders. And so when you layer his speed with the Avs team speed, you get an absolute nightmare to defend against. McKinnon's ability to generate controlled entries, cut through layers of coverage, and create scoring chances off of sustained ozone pressure is unmatched. And it's what drives the entire identity of the Colorado Avalanche. The only reason he's not number 2 on this list is because of Nikita Kucherov. Kucherov is the smartest offensive player in the NHL and the most creative playmaker in the world right now. It is entirely possible that Kucherov wins his 3rd straight Art Ross trophy if he finishes the season with the most points, which is looking like he probably will. Since November 22nd, get this, Kucherov has 95 points. That's the most points by any NHL player over a 45-game span since Mario Lemieux in 95 and 96. He's had more 4-point games than 0-point games this season. We've covered the brilliant...
What a stat. He's had more 4-point games than 0-point games. Holy moly.
Of Kucherov on this channel plenty of times, but this quote says everything you need to know about the psychology of his game and how he studies every detail in an Athletic article back in 2022. He said, "I know every D-man, his best ability, and where he's not comfortable. I can put the puck in a place where he's weak and attack that."
This is the type of... Now this the type of obsessiveness that I like. I like this right here. Bro said, "I know every D-man, his best ability, and where he's not comfortable. Some guys go out drinking. I just want to watch shifts." Bro said he in there. And I know people don't be wanting to hear it, but in football they got like iPads. They'll be like, That's bro at night in the dark on the couch. Right now. Oh, this why I attack. I love it, bro. I love it. The only way to become the best at the game is you study all the time.
Space, attack his weak spot. For me, I had to learn. I had to watch the clips. Some guys go out drinking. I just want to watch shifts. When you study, you have a bigger library. And really, you see it in his wall work, on the power play, and how he reads defensive structures in all kinds of scenarios. We may be witnessing one of, if not the most skilled winger of all time on any given.
I think that's one of the more valuable things of life, bro. Like, you see something and you can use it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've always been one of those people of like, if I see something that I think is possible, I'm gonna try it. Or like, I can see something and learn from it. That's really what I'm trying to say. See something and learn from it. Like, he can sit there and watch over and over and over until he comes up with something to be like, okay, this is where I could attack this person. It makes you the best, bro. It really does.
And the run that he's on right now is stuff that we only see from true generational talents. Now, as time goes on, there's a real debate about whether or not he should be in the #1 spot because he has the Stanley Cups and he's got the numbers. And honestly, it's hard to argue otherwise. Personally, I think he goes to the #1 on this list if he has a deep and productive playoff run this season.
Okay.
Last 3 years, Kucherov has been eliminated in the first round and pretty much shut down, but the last 2 years were at the hands of the Florida Panthers, who were the best team in the league. They're cup winners. They also shut down the guy at the #1 slot too, who stays in that spot as of right now, and that is still Connor McDavid. Connor McDavid is the most talented hockey player we've ever seen. It is both a blessing and a curse for him. Still without a Stanley Cup or Olympic gold medal, no one will truly view him as the GOAT unless he gets a ring. It simply doesn't matter.
Damn, bro, that's some real pressure too, ain't it? When you think about it, ooh, that's some real pressure, boy. Most points since 2011 to 2012.
How many points he puts up. McDavid has been so disgustingly close to reaching the top of the mountain, only to fall just short these last 3 years.
That's rough. Oof, that's rough, bro. That's real pressure right there, dog. Real pressure.
So much so that people are saying that he simply can't win the big one and even calling him a choker. But the guy is one of the best playoff performers of all time. He's got 150 points in just 96 playoff games. That's a 1.56 points per game average, which is 3rd all time, trailing only Mario Lemieux and Wayne Gretzky. He led the Olympics in tournament scoring, but people are starting to point out that when the lights were the brightest in do-or-die elimination games, he's been held off the score sheet. But that is the most unique, frustrating, and beautiful thing about hockey. For all the unbelievable qualities we've highlighted for all the other players on this list, McDavid can execute that skill at the same or even higher level. However, he's still yet to win the most prestigious trophy in the sport because this sport takes more than just one player to win it. Because McDavid is the closest thing we've seen in our generation to a one-man army, he earns the top spot on this list going into the 2026 Stanley Cup playoffs. So what did you think about the list? Who's in your top 10 for this season? Drop your rankings down below along with what surprised you, what pissed you off. As always, we got breakdowns and recaps for the...
Man, shout out Hockey Psychology, bro. I want to check out some of these. I do want to read some of these comments. So let's see. Top 10. Let's see if people actually put their top 10. Aho, Bedard, Jack Eichel. I'm a Vegas fan, not being biased. That's hard to say. Nuggy, Sonny, Hall of Famer, Neighbors, Thomas, DVO, Holloway. I've never heard of any of those guys. Suzuki, Robo. Shout out Connor Bedard of the Chicago Bedards. Celebrating his motor. Bro, I was snubbed. Yeah. Ooh. 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 Sorry you guys had to hear that, man. I'm trying to get over it, but I went on a run at 4 a.m. the other day, so that probably didn't help. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Like I said, we are 11 subscribers away from 500. So hit that subscribe button, hit that subscribe button, hit that subscribe button. Turn those post notifications on. If you want to see more hockey content just like this, check out a video in the middle of the screen. Stay peaceful, stay positive, stay disciplined. Always, always, always be kind.